Hey guys, Mark the Landlocked Surfer here, and I've got a video today that I think is going to be really useful for a lot of you because it's even useful for me. As much bull riding as I've done, I recently got to ride in this ginormous bull in Calgary, which is almost ridiculously large, and I struggled to get as high as I wanted to. And so that required me taking a look and seeing what I could adapt to try and get higher on the bull wall. This is Legacy Skate Park in Ottawa, which I pretty much have dialed now. And I came to realize that I have understood the corners and the straight parts of these two square bowls to know where I have to do these big high trajectory arcs, where I have to do more flat double pumps. That lets me carry my speed and get maximum height and kind of maximize my ride throughout the bowl. Now, once I started trying to adjust for different shape bowls, that's where I started to see a difference. This, for example, is a Richcraft bowl in Canada, and it is a different shape. It's got one square end, but the others are two round, almost like Mickey Mouse ear style. So they're all round radius at the top, same with this section here. And I find that with this bowl, I have to do a lot less work. I kind of just let the bowl do the work and flow along. You can see my upper body is pretty still and stable. I'm just going with the flow here and letting the bowl do the work. So let's go back to that big bowl in Calgary. This is one of my earlier runs. Now, when I first saw this bowl, I had visions of getting way up past the halfway mark of that full pipe, and I couldn't get anywhere close to it. And I found that for one of the few times while using the Surfskate Love 83A wheels, I couldn't get enough speed to bring in to get it higher. But I don't think it was the wheels, because I tried the 95A ones later and I had the same issues. So it was definitely a matter of technique. Let's go back to Legacy Skate Park and look at the way that I run my trajectory in that park that I'm familiar with. Watch this first corner. You'll notice that I don't do the big rainbow arc. I actually kind of ride along the wall trying to stay as high as I can. That helps me hold speed around that square corner. Do it again here coming front side. Now, on this particular shaped bowl, that is the best way I've found to maintain my speed around that relatively tight corner of the bowl. Once I move into the big bowl, the optimal line is a little bit different. I do start with the big arc, then somewhat square, straight line, and then the arcs really come into play. The green arrow shows the line I would usually take here to do kind of a figure eight, but in this case I chose to end the line with a bird slide. So if we move back to that big bowl in Calgary, it almost happened by accident where I took a slightly different line, and instead of doing the kind of double pump, holding the high line around the end corner there, I ended up going at a bit more of an arc and coming out high. And what I noticed is that let me carry more downward momentum coming out of that turn that I could immediately translate into the next wall. So let's have a look at what it looks like when it's done well. Okay, right here, look at my trajectory, how I go up at the end rather than maintaining my line. That was a key difference. So this end corner, which was more round than square, when I changed from riding it like I would at Legacy as more of a square double pump line to trying to start low and bring it out high at the end so I can carry that momentum downward, that was the big difference in being able to carry more speed and height. So it's always important to know that each bowl is going to behave a little bit differently, and you might have to experiment a little bit with your lines, with the trajectory of your arcs as you're going up and down the wall, and find what's going to work best to bring the maximum efficiency to your lines, to help you get your maximum pump, and to get as high as you can so that you can have some exhilarating runs like this one. The second thing I want to highlight is that this bowl, unlike the one I mentioned in Canada, is not one where you can passively carry your flow and speed. It's one where the shape of the transition, especially in that full pipe section where there's no flat bottom, there's no kind of J curve, you need to really be using your body to unweight going up the wall and throw your full weight going down the wall in order to translate the most momentum into each turn. So if you look back at one of these early runs, you can see I'm just kind of going with the flow on this first frontside turn rather than really throwing my weight into it. Same here, kind of haphazardly throwing my weight down. A little bit better there, a little bit more there, but I'm not really working hard at the unweighting and the really pushing my body down to get the maximum effective gravity coming down the transition. Now look here in contrast, how much I unweighted going up there, how much I pushed my upper body weight down. See how I'm unweighting here and then throwing all of my upper body weight down to get into here. And that lets me carry this next one by unweighting almost up to the top of the blue paint. So if you're struggling with getting height on the walls, the first thing I would suggest is play around with your trajectory. Try a different line, try a different approach, see if having a more flat line would help or if having a more high arcing line would help. And the other thing is really concentrate if you're struggling to unweight when you're going up the wall and throw your weight down when you're coming back down. As simple as those two things might sound, it takes conscious effort to apply them and implement them when you're going at full speed, especially if you have a place where you have a line dialed to try something different. Hope this is helpful. Please let me know how it works for you.